The purpose of today's Vinyasa flow is for your body to get used to moving through the sequence in more of a flow. So a little bit more fluid and less holding. In the main part of the class, I'm going to repeat the same sequence 4 times, so twice on each side. The first round, we'll take it a little bit slower, holding each pose and allowing your body to feel the pose and feel the transition into the next pose. And then in the second round, we'll flow through it a little quicker. Let's get started. We'll begin in a child's pose, taking the knees wide, and then extending the arms forward as you bring your forehead to rest down on the mat. Take a deep full inhale through your nose, and then open your mouth and sigh the breath out. And with that exhalation, bring your awareness into your body and allow your body to soften into this extended child's pose. Allowing the sits bones to reach down towards the heels as your hips soften and open. Allowing the outer edges of the arms to melt down towards the floor as the shoulders soften and open and your sternum reaches down towards the mat. We'll stay here in child's pose for a moment, bringing the awareness to the breath. As you inhale, feel the sides and the back of your ribcage expanding, creating more space for your lungs to take in more air. And every time you exhale, feel how your belly button gently draws in towards your spine as your lungs empty. In your mind, start to count the breath to yourself. Inhaling for a count of 4 and exhaling to count of 4. Keeping the inhales and the exhales through your nose only. Now start to walk your hands across to the left side, placing the right hand on top of the left, interlacing your fingers, and then turn the right shoulder down towards the floor and pull your right sit bone down onto your heel. Feeling a deep stretch all along the right side body. Then draw the left hand out from underneath the right. Push into that hand to lift your chest and then twist through your spine. Maybe you can look all the way up to the ceiling. Lift the left arm up and wrap it around your back, maybe hooking into the right thigh. Release the left hand. Walk your hands through center, coming across to the other side. Same thing. It's the left hand on top of the right hand now, and then turning the left shoulder down to the floor, pulling the left sit bone down towards your heel. Draw the right hand out from underneath the left, push into the right hand to lift your chest, twisting through your spine, your ear comes down onto your arm, and then lift the right arm up and wrap it around your back into the left thigh. Releasing the right hand, walking your hands back to center, and now really stretching the fingers forward. So pull forward with the fingertips on the mat, feeling the stretch into the lats. And as you exhale, tuck your pelvis and round your spine to draw the hands in, coming into all fours. So drawing the knees in so that they're directly beneath the hips. And we'll start to articulate through the spine. As you inhale, lower your belly, draw your shoulder blades back, and tuck the toes under. Feel how by tucking the toes under, you activate deeper into the lower back. And as you exhale, place the top of the feet down, tuck your pelvis, round your spine and draw your chin in. 2 more rounds of cat-cow. Inhale and exhale. And 1 more round. Make sure that you are really starting to activate into the hands. So spreading the fingers wide, pressing down into the fingertips, as well as all four corners of the palms. Coming back to a neutral pelvis, warming up into the wrists by taking the shoulders in a circle over the wrists. And as you do this, make sure that you are pressing into the different parts of the hand as you make that circle. So press into the heel of the hand and the sides, then the knuckles, and then the other side, so that you're not only warming up the wrist joints itself, but you're also warming up the fascia and the palm of the hand. Changing direction to circle the other way around. And then coming back to center. On an exhale, move into your cat pose, rounding the spine up. Reach forward, so going into a deeper flexion of the wrists, keeping the spine rounded, lifting between the shoulder blades. Keep that cat pose, tuck the toes under as you reach your sit bones back towards your heels, but still keeping a rounding through the spine. Twice more, keep the rounding as you reach forward, lifting between the shoulder blades, so really pressing up away from the floor here. Again, warming up into the hands and the wrists, as well as the spine. Now pull the sit bones back towards the heels. So notice here there's a lot of rounding in the spine, the lower back especially, and tapping the pelvis. And you'll see how that changes on the next round. So now we're going to change that up by going into cow pose, lowering the belly, drawing the shoulders back and looking up. Now as you reach forward, think of pulling your heart between your arms. And now keep the anterior tilt to the pelvis as you go back. So when we were in the cat pose and we took the hips back, the pelvis was tucked and the spine was rounded. Now I want you to keep the anterior tilt. So there's extension in the lower back. You're trying to point your sit bones back behind you. Keep that shape in the spine as you reach forward. Draw the heart forward. And then reach your sit bones back. And one more time. Now we're going to flow through that in a circular motion, going from cat-cow, going forward and back. So keeping that cow shape, reach your heart forward, bring the elbows inwards. So if you've done the other Vinyasa classes, you'll recognize this to be very similar to a chaturanga. So we're warming up for the chaturanga later. Hover your heart just above the mat as you press back a deep activation into the triceps. Now tuck the pelvis around the spine and come up. Moving back into your cow pose, reach your heart forward, bring the elbows, squeeze your elbows against your ribs. Hover your heart just above the mat as you press back. Deep work into the triceps. Tuck the pelvis around the spine up. And one more time. Moving with your breath. Keep the breath flowing. And then we're going to reverse that. So keep the rounding in cat pose. Draw your sit bones back to your heels. Now bend your elbows. This time you actually place the elbows down. Go into anterior tilt of the pelvis. Pull the heart forward. And then press up, so it's like a little mini chaturanga press up. And then round your spine, reach your sit bones back. Draw the elbows down, anteriorly tilt the pelvis, reach your heart down towards the mat. And then press up. And one more time. From there, let's lift the knees and hips to move into down dog. Spread your fingers wide on the mat, making sure that either the middle or the pointer finger is facing directly forward on the mat. Press down into all 10 fingertips as well as all 4 corners of the palms. And then wrap the outer edges of the arms back towards your legs so you connect into the lats. If having your knees straight means that your spine is rounded and you're reaching forward like this, I would rather you bend your knees and get more extension in the lower back. Shake out your head to keep your neck relaxed. And then let's walk out the legs. So bend one knee, stretch the other heel down, and change sides. So just keep walking it out side to side, warming up into the calves and the hamstrings, but also into the feet. So as you lift the heel, really press into the toes and feel the fascia of the soles of the feet stretching out.
Coming back to center. So even if your knees are soft, I want you to still reach your heels down so you feel the stretch on the Achilles tendon. And again, we'll start working into the spine, now in down dog and then moving into plank. As you inhale, rise onto the balls of the feet, straightening your legs. As you exhale, bend your knees but lift your sits bones up towards the ceiling and press your chest to your thighs. Keep the neck relaxed. Keep your chest where it is as you straighten your legs, reaching your heels down. Twice more, inhale onto the balls of the feet. Exhaling, bend your knees, chest to your thighs, lift the sits bones up, and then reach your heels down. And one more time, inhale onto the balls of the feet, really stretch out your legs here. Get your chest all the way to your thighs, feel the extension in the lower back, and then reach your heels down. On an inhale, rise onto the tippy toes. Lift your sits bones to the ceiling. So try to keep an anterior tilt to the pelvis here as you straighten your legs. And only then tuck your pelvis, draw your belly in, and start that rippling action through the spine, lower back, mid back, upper back. As you come into plank, straighten and lengthen your spine. Crown of the head reaching forward. Heels are shooting back behind you. And then we reverse that. So start lifting between the shoulder blades, then the mid back, then the lower back, going right up onto the tips of your toes. Try to anteriorly tilt your pelvis and then reach your heels down. We'll move through that twice more. So imagine a wave moving through your spine, starting with the hips, through the lower back, the mid back, and then the upper back. Hold plank for a moment. Find that straight line. Find the strength in this pose. And then reverse. So moving from the upper back to the mid back, to the lower back, to the hips. And one more time, rippling forward. This time holding plank and drawing your knees down to the mat. So as you draw your knees down, make sure that you're not coming to all fours. Your hips are still forward. The pelvis is tucked. There's a straight line from knee through hip to shoulder. And then we're going to lower through chaturanga for a count of 8. Squeeze the elbows in. 7. Draw the belly in. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. So just notice if you stayed with me, if you managed to challenge yourself, or did you just give up and go straight down to the floor. Inhale into a baby cobra, sliding the shoulders back and down, and exhale to release. Tuck your toes under and press back through child's pose. Lift your hips back to down dog. On an inhale, rise up onto your tippy toes, connecting the abdominals and trying to keep your knees straight as you tiptoe forward to come into Uttanasana. Take your shoulders above your wrists and try to take the weight into your hands. Then releasing onto your feet, inhale into a halfway lift. Soft knees but a straight spine. Exhale to fold over your legs. Soften your knees, draw your belly in and round up through the spine to standing. Take a big shoulder loop at the top. Inhale, high mountain, palms facing in, shoulders draw down. The tailbone stays pointing down at the floor as you exhale, bend your elbows and pull them back behind your body, cactus arms. Release your hands at your sides, not chin to chest, and roll down through your spine. Inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale, fold over your legs. Use the same long exhale to roll up through your spine and take a big shoulder loop. Inhale, arms up, high mountain, shoulders down. Exhale, cactus arms, keep the pelvis tucked. Release your hands, now chin to chest and roll down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Draw the belly in, rounding up through the spine. Big shoulder loop. Inhale, high mountain. Exhale, cactus arms. Now chin to chest, roll down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. This time we're just rounding halfway up, so I want you to bend your knees, tuck your pelvis, round up through the spine. So place your hands just above your knees. Fingers in, elbows are out. Again, working into the spine. So from this rounding, you're going to reach your heart forward, going to an anterior tilt to the pelvis. And then exhale, drop the crown of the head down, tuck the pelvis around the spine. And keep going like that, getting that wave motion through your spine. As much articulation through the vertebra as possible. Let's do that 3 more times. And twice more. And on this last one, you're going to reach your heart forward and fold forward over your legs. Take your hands to the back of your ankles or calves and use your arms to pull yourself deeper into the stretch. Completely relax your neck. Crown of the head is dropping down towards the floor. Inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale, place your hands down, step your right foot and your left foot back to plank. Lowering the knees to the mat once again. This time you're going to push your sit bones back behind you, squeeze your elbows in, and bring your chin and your chest down. Getting a lot of extension in the lower back. Slide yourself flat, top of the feet down. Inhale, cobra. Putting the shoulders back and down. Exhale, release. Now tuck the toes to draw your knees in and lift your buttocks up. So you go back to that shape. And then you're going to lift your heart just off the mat, activating the triceps as you push back. So this should feel familiar. We were doing it earlier on. And then lifting up to down dog. Bring the balls of the feet to touch. So your feet are centered on the mat. As you inhale, lift the right leg up for down dog splits. Keeping the hips square, really reaching through the right knee and out of the right toe. So there's energy moving through the leg. Connecting the hamstring and the glute to lift the leg higher up. As you exhale, draw your knee to your nose, shifting forward, tiger curl. Inhale to reach back and up. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, stretching even higher. And on this last one, you're going to step forward into Anjaneyasana. So the back knee comes down. Inhale to take the arms up. Stretching your hips forward and down. Draw the right hip back as you wrap the left hip forward. Draw your shoulders away from your ears and keep the ribs connected. On an exhale breath, access your arms. And then bring your hands down to the mat as you straighten your front leg to come into Ardha Hanumanasana, your half splits. Flex your foot, draw the right hip back, and here you want your hips above the left knee. So I'm going to scoot my heels slightly further forward. And then make sure that the hips are squared to the front edge of the mat. And try to get extension through your spine. So if you're looking like this in this pose, I want you to bring your hands closer in towards you. Lift right up onto the fingertips and really try to get the spine as straight as possible. You're tractioning off the right heel to pull the right hip back. Now walk your hands forward, coming into a deeper lunge. So there's great distance between the back knee and the front heel, allowing you to press your hips forward and down, getting deeper into the right hip, as well as the left hip flexor. Lengthening through the spine here, so you're looking up in front of you, drawing the shoulders back and down, putting the belly in and reaching the heart forward. Plant your hands down on the mat, lift the back knee up, and step back into plank. On an inhale, reach forward off the toes, shoot the crown of the head forward. Full Chaturanga Lola for a count of 8, elbows in. 7, straight line through the body. 6, 5, challenge yourself to go slowly. 4, 3, 2, 1, touch down. The entire body touches at the same time. Top of the feet down. Inhale into Cobra. Exhale, release. Tuck the toes under. Push your knees into the mat. Squeeze your elbows in. and lift up with a straight line from knee to shoulder, and then roll back into down dog, bringing the balls of the feet to touch again. Deep inhale through the nose and release the breath out your mouth. Inhale to lift the left leg high, down dog splits, keeping the hips square, so wrapping the left hip down towards the floor. Keep pressing the right heel down into the mat, and then try to lift the left leg as high as you can. On an exhale, bring your knee to your chest, shift forward. Inhale, reach back and up. Exhale, shifting forward, lifting between the shoulder blades and lifting your knee as high as you can. Inhale, stretch even higher into the splits. Last time, and now we step forward into Vinyasa, bringing the back knee down. Inhale, arms come up. Holding your Vinyasa, opening up into the left hip now, and the right hip flexor. Keep your shoulders rolled down away from your ears, keep the ribs connected. And there's a natural arch happening in the spine here, but nonetheless I want you to try and tuck the pelvis slightly so you keep that connection in the lower belly rather than collapsing into the arch. As you exhale, cactus your arms, drawing your hands down to the mat, straightening out the left leg, Vinyasa, flexing the foot, maybe sliding the heel slightly forward so that your hips are directly above the right knee. And again, if you need to, you bring your hands all the way in, right up onto the tips of the fingers to straighten and lengthen your spine. Tractioning off the left heel to pull the left hip back, making sure that the hips are square to the front edge of the mat. Keeping the back of the neck long by looking down at the floor. Now walking your hands forward to come into that deeper lunge. Pushing the hips forward and down, drawing the left hip back, extending your spine, so reaching the heart forward as you pull the shoulders back and down, keeping the neck and the shoulders relaxed. Come back to your breath. Make sure that the breath is always flowing, never holding the breath. And whenever you need to, you can take a big exhale sigh out the mouth. Plant your hands, lift the back knee up, step back to plank. Inhale, pressing forward off the toes. Exhale, once again, it's a very slow, controlled chaturanga to really challenge the strength. 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, top of the feet down, inhale into cobra. Maybe now lifting slightly higher as we warm up into the spine. Exhale to release, tuck the toes under, squeeze the elbows in, tuck your pelvis, draw your belly in, and this time lift your entire body up into plank and press back to down dog. Making our way to the front of the mat, so if you want to, you can just tiptoe forward again, or you can hop forward. Inhale to rise onto the tippy toes, exhale, bend your knees. Use the end of the exhale to lightly hop forward, coming into Uttanasana. Inhale out of Uttanasana, halfway lift, exhale, fold over your legs, soften your knees, draw your belly in, rounding up through your spine, taking a big shoulder loop. Inhale, high mountain pose, shoulders down, tuck the pelvis. As you exhale, soften your knees, keep a straight spine and fold forward from the hips, swan diving forward. Inhale into your halfway lift. Exhale, place your hands down. Step the right and the left foot back to plank. Inhale, shoot the crown of the head forward. Exhale, chaturanga, this time only halfway down. Inhale into up dog. Sliding the shoulders back and down, so now the thighs and the hips are lifted off the floor. Strong legs and really pushing away from the floor, drawing the shoulders down. As you exhale, roll over the feet, coming to down dog. Now that we've warmed up, we can start moving through that flow. Make sure the balls of the feet are touching. Inhale, lift the right leg up, down dog splits. Exhale, draw your knee to your chest, shift forward, stepping into high crescent lunge. So the back knee stays lifted this time as you come up. Make sure that the front knee is pointing directly forward with your knee above your ankle. Draw the right hip back as you wrap the left hip forward. Tuck the pelvis slightly, draw the ribs in, and keep the shoulders relaxed. Now as you move into Warrior 2, make sure that this front knee stays pointing directly forward, so you're opening into this hip as you come into your Warrior 2, grounding the back foot down, parallel to the back edge of the mat. Tuck the pelvis again, draw the belly in. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Gaze is going forward over the middle finger. Turn the front palm up. As you inhale, reach forward. Exhale into reverse warrior. So sliding your hand down your thigh. Gaze goes to the back foot. Make sure that you're still grounding into the outer edge of the back foot. And here, it's very definitely a bend into the side body, not a back bend. So make sure that your hips and your chest are opening to the side of the mat. Keep the deep bend in the front knee. So as you went into your reverse warrior, you might have come out of the bend slightly. So just check in to keep that bend. Keep the knee pointing directly forward. From reverse warrior, we inhale through Warrior 2. Exhale into side angle pose. So either elbow to thigh and sweeping the leg down forward and up, or maybe fingertips to the floor. So if you have the flexibility in your hips to really get low, fingertips go to the floor. Pull the left shoulder down away from your ear and externally rotate the right shoulder. Think of pointing your tailbone towards the back heel. Now from this really nice and low energy, we want to keep the energy low as you move into Skandasana towards the back of the mat. So sweep the left hand across and then come down into Skandasana. If possible, this heel should be flat, but if you're on the ball of your foot, it's fine. And then reach forward through the ball of the right foot. So this leg must be very active. The quad is active, and you're reaching, shooting the energy out of the ball of the foot. Make sure the pelvic floor is lifted and the belly is drawn in, and you're trying to extend through your spine rather than rounding down. From here, we move into a warrior's bridge. So the right hand sweeps around to place down behind you. The left arm follows the same trajectory as you lift your hips and go into a back bend. I'm getting nice and personal with my plant here. Okay, so the next move is quite tricky. You have to push off your right hand. So we're using momentum, but also a lot of core control to come all the way around into a lunge facing the back of your mat now. Coming back to high crescent lunge. Take a moment here to find your balance and find your breath. And just reorientate yourself because we're now facing the other way. And to come back to the front of the mat, we're going to do exactly the same sequence but now on the other side. So from high crescent lunge, you're going to turn into Warrior 2. Make sure this knee does not shift. It stays in exactly the same position. As you ground the back foot down parallel to the back edge of the mat. So beautiful opening into this hip. Make sure you're pressing down into the outer edge of the back foot. Tuck the pelvis, draw the belly in. Turn the front palm up. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse warrior. Make sure that you're still tucking the pelvis as you go into reverse warrior, still bending deeply into the front knee. So feel as though there is energy moving out of this kneecap straight towards that edge of the mat. Inhale through Warrior 2. Exhale, side angle. So either elbow to thigh or fingertips to the floor. The right arm is reaching forward and up with the palm facing down. Right shoulder drawing away from the ear, externally rotate the left shoulder.
Stay low on your mat as you transition into Skandasana. So notice how I shifted on the ball of my foot to bring the foot to a 45-degree angle, sitting nice and low, drawing the belly in, lifting the pelvic floor up, extending through the spine. Make sure this quad is working. Warrior's Bridge. So now it's the left hand that sweeps around to come down to the floor. The right hand follows the same trajectory as you lift your hips up. So there's a tendency for this heel to want to lift. If you can, it's better to keep that foot flat. So now to turn to the front of the mat, we've got to push off the left hand, swivel around, and come into our high crescent lunge. Take a moment here, wrapping the left hip forward as you draw the right hip back, bending into the front knee, finding your breath. On an exhale, cactus your arms, bringing them down to the floor as you step back into plank. Moving through a vinyasa, inhale, shooting forward off the toes. Exhale, only halfway down, so find a 90-degree angle in your elbows. Inhale into up dog. Onto the top of the feet, press and lift away from the floor. Exhale, down dog. Take a deep, full inhale through your nose to fill up your lungs, and then open your mouth to release the breath and release the tension. And then come back to inhaling and exhaling through your nose if possible. On an inhale, rise onto the balls of the feet, either tiptoeing forward or hopping forward. Inhale to come into a halfway lift. Exhale, fold over your legs. This time it's a reverse swan dive to rise. So soften the knees, keep the spine straight. All the way up into high mountain pose. Shoulders down, tap the pelvis. Let's go to a slight back bend. So pushing the hips forward, lifting up out of the waist as you draw your arms forward, opening your heart up towards the ceiling. Inhale to come up, exhale, soften the knees, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, place your hands down. Once again, you can just step back to plank and then move through your vinyasa. Or if you like, you can lightly hop back into chaturanga. So bending the elbows as you land. I'm going to show you that again. So make sure that when you hop back, you're not landing with your elbows straight, because that creates a lot of strain on the lower back when you land hard on your feet like that. So you're using the elbows as your suspension. So bending the elbows in as you land. Inhale into up dog. And then exhale to down dog. Taking just a couple of breaths in down dog to center yourself and find your breath again. And we're going to move through that sequence for the second time. So now starting on the left leg and then moving to the right. This time we'll move through it a little quicker, so we'll flow through it. And your body now knows the sequence. You've already done it once, it's in your body. So trust your body and just move with the flow. Try not to think too hard about it. I still want you to stay focused on the alignment and make sure that you're moving through it in a way that is good for your body and it's not going to injure you, but try to feel into your body more than just staying in your head to think too much about the sequence. On an inhale, lift the left leg high, down dog splits.
Exhale, draw your knee into your chest, shifting forward. High crescent lunge. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hold it there. Pull the left leg back, wrap the right leg forward. On your next inhale, come into warrior two. Bending deeply into the front knee, tucking the pelvis, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Front palm turns up. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse warrior. Staying bended into the front knee, so don't come out of that bend. Inhale through warrior two. Exhale, side angle pose. Elbow onto your thigh if fingertips on the floor is too low for you. Now keep the energy low, stay low as you transition into Skandasana. Adjusting this foot so the angle is at a 45 degree. Pull the belly in, try to extend through the spine. Sweep the left arm around, followed by the right hand into your warrior's bridge. So for me, this foot always wants to lift up, whereas the other one is easier to keep down. So I have to work on keeping this foot down, and you want to press the weight into the outer edge of the foot. Now sweeping around to come into a high crescent lunge facing the back of the mat. Take a moment, find your breath, find stillness. Inhale into warrior two. Nice deep bend into the front knee. Turn the front palm up, inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale through warrior two. Exhale, side angle pose. Hips are nice and low. Staying low as you come into Skandasana. Sweeping the right hand around, followed by the left hand as you come up into your warrior's bridge. Pushing off the right hand and using momentum to come back to the front of the mat. High crescent lunge. On an exhale, cactus your arms, stepping back into plank. And moving through your vinyasa. Inhale, push forward off your toes. Exhale, chaturanga halfway down. Keep a straight line through your body. And then inhale into up dog. Pulling your shoulders back and down. Exhale to roll over your feet to down dog. Deep full inhale through your nose. Exhaling out your mouth. Well done. So moving at that pace through the flow, so you've got your heart rate up. You might feel a little bit out of breath. Inhale to rise on the balls of your feet as you exhale, tiptoe or hop forward. Inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive to rise. High mountain pose, tap the pelvis, draw the shoulders down. Press your hips forward and open your chest by pulling the arms back, lifting up out of your waist. Inhale to come up. Exhale, soften the knees, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, place your hands down, either stepping or hopping back into chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhale, down dog. I'm going to move us through one more quick sequence. So making sure the balls of the feet are touching. As you inhale, lift the right leg high. Down dog splits. This time, open your hips up. So right hip pulls back and open above the left hip. And lift your right leg higher up. Keep the knee straight at first, reaching through the knee out the ball of the foot. And then bend your knee, squeezing the heel to the buttock as you pull your knee further up and further back. Exhale, circle your knee round and draw it into your chest, stepping forward. Inhale to come up, high crescent lunge. Now hop the back foot forward slightly so that you can ground it down at a 45-degree angle and then straighten the front leg. Pull the right hip back as you wrap the left hip forward. And then take your arms either onto your hips, or if you have the flexibility in the shoulders, you're going to go into a reverse prayer. So I'll just show you quickly. That means that your hands are in prayer position but behind your back. So bringing the fingertips together and then taking them up onto your spine. If you're unable to do the reverse prayer, you just keep your hands on your hips. So here I want you to make sure that the right quad is very active as you pull the right hip back. Try to tuck the pelvis slightly, lengthen through your spine as you inhale. Exhale to hinge forward. Bringing your torso parallel to the floor. Pull the right hip back again. So constantly pulling the right hip back, keeping the right quad active. It's very easy here for the right quad to give up, and then you're jamming your knee joint back. So if that starts happening, rather soften the knee slightly so that the quad is actually working. Very strong into the core here. Keep the back of the neck long. As you inhale, draw your belly in, come up to standing. Setting up for Trikonasana. Parallel the back foot to the back edge of the mat. Take your arms out to the side, draw your belly in. Tucking the pelvis slightly. As we move into Trikonasana, the first step is to reach forward with the hands. But the purpose of that is to tilt the hips. So as you reach forward, I want you to pull the left hip up and drop the right hip down and back. So you've now got a tilted angle in the hips. As you exhale, windmill your hands into Trikonasana. So hand can either be on the shin, on the ankle, or maybe fingertips on the floor. And if possible, you're looking up at the ceiling. If that's too much, and you can't hold your balance like that, you can just look down at the floor. Once again, this right quad should be very, very active. And you're trying to externally rotate both shoulders. So draw the pinky fingers towards the left edge of the mat so that there's an opening across the chest. Strong legs, strong belly. Inhale, come up. Turn the front palm up, inhale, reach forward. And exhale into reverse Trikonasana. So both legs are still straight. Inhale to come back up, and then we move into a revolved triangle pose. So we're going to adjust the back foot again. So now we're back in that first position of the legs. Swing the left arm over and bring it down to the inside of the right foot. If you need to, you can use a prop here. So if you have a book or a yoga block or something that you can place your hand on, it'll make it easier for you to go into the twist. Opening your chest up to the right side of the mat, right arm goes up, and then drawing the right hip back. Soften into the front knee as you sweep the right arm forward and up, coming back into your high crescent lunge. Take a breath here. On an exhale, draw your hands down to your heart, bend into the back knee, and now shoot yourself forward off the back foot to come into Warrior 3. Chest comes down as the leg comes up. Make sure that this left hip is still pointing down at the floor. The standing leg can be bent, but the back leg should be straight. Reach through your knee. Raise a sharp focus to hold your balance. Release your hands down to the floor. Right hand can come onto the right ankle to pull yourself deeper into standing splits. Still keeping the hips closed. So left hip pointing forward rather than opening up. If this is too much for you, you can't hold the balance there, it's fine to have both hands on the floor. This just helps you to get deeper into it. Bend into the standing leg and lightly, gently place the back foot down. Coming back to your high crescent lunge. Coming back to your breath.
So now you can see that whoever said yoga is not hard work has never done vinyasa. As you exhale, cactus your arms, placing the hands down, stepping back to plank. Inhale, moving forward off the feet. Exhale, chaturanga, halfway down. Inhale into up dog. And exhale to down dog.
Moving through that sequence to the other side. Inhale to lift your left leg high and hold it there to open up your hips. So now the left hip is pulling up and back over the right hip. The left knee is still straight and you're reaching through your toe, trying to lift your leg as high as you can, and then bend your knee and squeeze your heel to your buttock. Exhale to circle your knee wide and step forward, coming into high crescent lunge. To set up for pyramid pose. So hopping the back foot in slightly so that you can ground it down at a 45-degree angle. Make sure here that your heels are not in one straight parallel line. So the left heel should be just left of the midline of the mat. The right heel should be just right in the midline of the mat. Reason being that if you put them in one straight line, it's a lot harder to get your hips parallel to the front edge of the mat. You might be able to do it, but for the majority of people, it's better to have each heel in line with each hip. So pulling the left hip back, wrapping the right hip forward, left quad is active, hands either on the hips or in your reverse prayer position. If you get the reverse prayer, try to open your elbows to open your chest. Tuck the pelvis, pull the belly in. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, hinging forward from the hips. So continuously pulling the left hip back, activating the left quad. So you'll notice that I like to lift my toes up because that helps me to activate my foot and activate my quad. Keep the back of the neck long. Strong core. Inhale to come up to standing. Release your hands. Parallel the back foot to the back edge of the mat to set up for Trikonasana. So now in Trikonasana, it's okay if the heels are in one straight line. So remember that movement of the hips. As you reach the front hand forward, this right hip lifts up, the left hip drops down and back. So the sits bone on this side is pointing to the back heel. You've got that tilted angle on your hips. And then as you exhale, windmill the hands, hand to shin, ankle or fingertips to floor, depending on your flexibility. And here, lengthen through your spine. So rather than rounding forward to get your hand down to the floor, you can have your hand slightly higher and try to get your torso in a straight line over the midline of the mat. So crown of the head is still pointing directly forward. And you feel length through your spine and an opening across the chest and the shoulders. Gaze can turn up if you can hold your balance there. Strong belly, strong legs, strong left quad as you come up to standing. Reach the front palm forward and up. Exhale into reverse Trikonasana. Moving into a revolved Trikonasana. So adjusting the back foot again to come back to that same position as pyramid pose. It's a 45-degree angle, which allows you to square your hips off to the front of the mat, reach the right hand forward, either onto the mat or maybe on a prop. And then twisting towards the left side of the mat. If you cannot do this pose, please don't worry. It is a very difficult one. So if it's too much for you at this point in time, just skip it out. Make sure that you're pulling back with this left hip, feeling the stretch here.
Now softening into the front knee, maybe you hop the back foot back slightly again to come back to your high crescent lunge. And just take a moment here to center yourself and find your breath. As you exhale, draw your hands down to your heart, bend into the back knee, and then shoot yourself forward to come into Warrior 3. So again, it's the standing leg that can be bent, but I want this back leg really straight and strong. The right hip is still pointing down at the floor. Release your hands now to come into standing splits. Maybe left hand goes to left ankle. Bending into the standing legs very lightly and gently step back to high crescent lunge. On an exhale, cactus your arms, stepping back to plank to move through your very last vinyasa. So make it a good one. Inhale, pushing forward off your feet. Exhale, keep the straight line through your body as you chuck it under halfway down. Inhale into up dog. Pull the shoulders back and down, lift away from the floor. Exhale to down dog. On an inhale, rise onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, bend your knees to hop forward, or you can tiptoe forward. Stay here nice and low. Get your heels flat, reach your arms forward, and slowly, with control, place your buttocks down on the mat. Then take your feet slightly further forward so that you can roll down onto your back. And then draw your knees into your chest. Hugging your arms around your knees and gently rocking side to side. Getting a massage into the spinal muscles. Start to slow down your breath and slow down your heart rate. So if you need to, take a couple of big exhale sighs out your mouth. Draw the right knee in at your chest, straighten the left leg down on the mat and flex the foot. So make sure the left leg is active. As you squeeze your right leg all the way in towards your chest, so you can see I've completely closed this gap. I want you to really pull with your arms to bring your thighs close in to your abdomen as possible. Right hand out to the side, looking to the right. As you exhale, pull your left knee across to the left. Sorry, I mean your right knee across to the left. Working with your breath here to relax into the spinal muscles. The more you can relax the spinal muscles, the deeper your spine can twist. Try to keep the right shoulder grounded and then work towards getting the left knee closer to the floor. The right knee, I keep on saying left because it's on the left side. As you exhale, come back to center and then we change sides. So draw the left leg in, straighten the right leg down on the floor, make sure the foot is flexed. Take a deep full inhale, and as you exhale, close that gap, so pulling your thigh all the way into the left side of your abdomen and your chest. Left hand out to the side, using the right hand to pull your knee across your chest and then look towards the left. We're
over the left shoulder, keeping the left shoulder grounded, relaxing through your spine to allow your knee to drop further down onto the right side. And you might get a click in your spine. On an exhale breath, come back to center. Pull the right knee in again and gently rock side to side. Setting up for Shavasana, you can either take your legs into constructive relaxation, so that's feet wide with the knees touching, or you could straighten your legs, having the feet nice and wide, and your arms at your sides with the palms facing up. Take a deep full inhale through your nose. Open your mouth and sigh the breath out. Allowing your eyes to close and allowing your body to completely relax. Just let it soften down into the floor. Relaxing the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, and allowing your bones to become very heavy as you feel yourself sinking down into the earth. Staying here in your Shavasana for a couple of minutes to allow your body to integrate the work that you just did.